Hello friends, welcome to another tutorial of this program. In this tutorial, we will be starting off with a new module, and that is brute force attack. So what is brute forcing? A brute force attack is a trial and error method used by application program to decode encrypted data such as passwords or DES keys. DES stands for Data Encryption Standard. Through exhaustive efforts using brute force rather than employing intellectual strategies. A hacker may use a brute force attack to obtain access to a website and account, then steal data, shut the website down, and execute another type of attack. The parameters may be usernames, passwords, authentication token, sequential values, receipt number, tracking numbers, or anything that can be hacked to gain access or to either steal crucial information. Brute forcing is of two types. One, dictionary based brute forcing, and another is logical brute forcing. Now let's see what is dictionary based brute forcing. The brute forcing attacks are generally for targeting parameters like usernames or password. So in this, the hacker usually creates a list of most commonly used passwords and usernames, which are also referred to as dictionary. That's why we call it dictionary attack. And over here we use burp intruder for this attack. What is logical brute forcing? It takes place where there are sequential values, IDs, OTPs, etc. It starts from external logic to determine which password variation may be most likely to succeed, and then continues with a simple approach to try many possible variations. Over here also we use burp intruder for this attack. How we can perform brute force attack in a testing environment. So over here it's asking for username and password. As we know that the login credentials of DVWL app is admin as username and password as its password. If I enter these credentials, I will be logged in. Now imagine that you are trying this vulnerability in a website while doing bug hunting. As you must not be knowing the password, so how you can brute force in login forums for the same. Today we will do the same via burp suite. For example, let's enter username as A1 and password as 123. Now let's intercept this request in burp suite. So you can see over here that it's a get based request and username and password are being passed in this request. Now right click and send this request to intruder, as this is where we can perform brute force attack. Now go to positions. First of all, clear all the positions from here. Now double click this and add one over here and one over here. For this we will be using cluster bomb, as there are two payloads, and in cluster bomb when we input our payload list for payload set 1 and for payload set 2, that is username is equal to this is payload set 1 and password is equal to this is payload set 2. So what happens in cluster bomb is that it will brute force all the payloads of payload set 1 with payload set 2 and check what all payloads are working. So there are two options of inputting payload over here. One is by adding manually and one is by loading a txt file where there is a complete list of payloads. But over here we will add manually. Let's give one admin. Next will be user. Then we can give admin 1, user 1 and AAA. So this was for the usernames, and the second list is of passwords. Let's give one correct password, that is password. Second one is this. Third one is QWERTY. Then we can add 1 2 3 4. Now let's start the attack. Over here if you can see that payload count is 4 and request count is 20, because in payload set 1 we have 5 payloads and 5 multiplied by 4 turns out to be 20. That's why the request count will be 20, as it will be checking with each and every payload. And now let's start the attack. The attack has been finished, but how will you determine that which among these is the correct credential? So over here you can see that if I look at the length of admin and password section, it is 4736, which is different from the rest. Except this, all the other results have the same length. So from this, I can figure out that admin and password is the correct credential for my DVWL app. Now let's check it again. Voila! We have successfully able to brute force this login forum. So that we are going to do a live practical on OTP bypass via brute force. So let's see the same. Now over here we'll enter our city name, Delhi, and enter the mobile phone number. And other details as well. Let's hit submit, and now as we are logged in, now it's asking for OTP. So let me write. What we'll do, we'll enter any random 4-digit OTP, let's say 1234, and intercept our request via burp suite. Let's enter this only. Let's turn on the intercept. It's not verifying. Let me enter again. Yeah, now let's verify. So what we'll do, we'll send this to intruder. Over here, we'll clear all positions and select only OTP password position, add. Then we'll go to payloads. Now over here, I'll add manually. Though I have the original OTP, still I'll add few with the correct OTP. Now let's start the attack. Over here, the one payload with different length is the correct OTP. Let me write it. The length of actual OTP changes drastically. It is 2650. Let's turn off the intercept. Now let's enter our OTP. Ready, 2650. As you can see, we have successfully logged in by bypassing OTP via brute force. So that's how we perform brute force attack. Thanks a lot for watching this video.